By the end of March, Financial Secretary Simon Wilson says he expects that 60,000 business licenses will be approved. That after Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis said earlier this week that up to February 22nd, 13,000 of those licenses had been approved and an additional 5,000 plus were waiting payment. That 60,000 will surpass the 2022 figure.
At this pace, we probably will approve close to 60,000 licenses by the end of March. Last year we did 50,000, so we really ramping up the efficiency and the productivity to get business licenses out.
For those who have said the process was much more tedious this year than in previous years, the Financial Secretary had this to say.
This year, we went through an exercise to verify the information a bit more. In previous years, they might have this approved with a view that they'll do an ex post analysis. This year, we tried to do some analysis ex ante, where we asked a couple questions just to verify if the information was being presented was correct.
Meantime, Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkitis hitting back at critics who oppose the government's business license renewal plan. He says those critics, particularly the opposition, should remember their actions when they were in government.
They need to be reminded. For example, I issued a statement yesterday about this issue of businesses providing an assessment number or the location of their business and the name of their landlord, right? We had the former Minister of State for Finance saying that, the government needs to do away with that, when in fact, the very same individual was Minister of State for Finance when the FNM implemented in June 2021 a much more, dare I say, draconian amendment to the Business License Act, where they were in fact putting the onus on the tenant to make sure that the landlord was paying the real property tax.
Halkitis thanks the public for their patience and warns them of what he calls political pandering.
There's a whole lot of political pandering going on, all right? They know what they implemented because of the problems that they had. We have taken a much softer approach. And so, all I can say is unfortunately that's the nature of our political opposition, is that they say things without even being reminded of what they did a few short months ago when they sat in the very same chair.
The option of staying in an Airbnb is becoming a much more popular alternative for travelers. But just how much does that sector contribute to tourism and the overall economy? Well, Economic Affairs Minister says they're looking to regulate that industry.
We are looking in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism to ensure that they come more into the formal sector, so to speak, which is Ministry of Finance speak to say, well, make sure they pay. As it stands now, we are collecting on the fee that is paid to the Airbnb. We are seeking to move to bring them, into the net, so to speak.
He says they're also looking at ways for those in the Airbnb sector to have the same access to the concessions that some of the major hotels have.
Because that has been a complaint. The hotel are complaining that these people are eating into their business, but the flip side of that is, okay, if we want to tax them on the